If you're planning a wine trip this autumn, here are the 5 destinations where I personally went over the years and I highly recommend visiting them, especially in autumn. My name is Garry and I'm a WSET3 qualified sommelier, and let me be clear with you now. These won't be the typical wines you find on every shelf or in a fancy restaurant list. Some of them are really for wine geeks, but I'm almost sure you'll love them. They all have this autumn soul, cozy, earthy, full of character, yet they come from places you probably wouldn't expect. Let's start in the Italian Alps in a region called Valle d'Aosta. It is the smallest of all Italian regions, squeezed between France and Switzerland, and you could easily drive past it if you didn't know it has some of the most unique microclimates in Europe. The vineyards climb the steep mountain slopes and the air there is crystal clear. Once, when we were traveling with friends from France to Italy, we decided to stop by a small local winery, honestly just to stretch our legs, and we ended up discovering Fumin. It's an ancient local grape variety that almost disappeared at one point. Fumin produces deep, spicy, smoky wines, quite different from the polished, modern Italian red wines, no? It's rustic in the best way possible, full of wild berry and pepper notes, yet still fresh thanks to the alpine climate. That's the magic of Valle d'Aosta. It's Italy, but with the heartbeat of the mountains. The name of the winery is Le Cret. It's in French because in Valle d'Aosta they speak a lot of French along with Italian, and yeah, it was a very nice experience. Then we move east across the Adriatic Sea to Croatia. There, among truffle forest and old stone villages, you'll find the Zigante family winery. They became famous for its truffles. They even hold a Guinness record for the largest white truffle ever found, but later started producing wine, and what a surprise it was. The Zigante Istarska Malvasia is stunning. Malvasia is a large family of grapes found all around the Mediterranean, but Istarska Malvasia is unique to Croatia's Istria region. It can be made in a light floral, unoaked style, but this one is the opposite. It's intense, textured, and slightly cloudy with visible sediment at the bottom of the bottle. It smells of apricots, honey, herbs from the Istrian hills. You taste it and it's like the end of summer turning into fall, still sunny but deeper and warmer. I was in Istria, especially this season, early November probably, and it was a stunning experience, 100% recommended. Next, we travel to Armenia, a country not usually on people's wine list, but should be, actually. Armenia has one of the oldest winemaking histories in the world. Archaeologists even found a 6,000-year-old winery there, and its native grape, Areni, deserves much more attention. It's often called the Armenian Pinot Noir, and the comparison really makes sense. It's delicate, elegant, sometimes shy, but full of inner energy. Some producers make it in a rough, like old-school style, almost like Pinot Noir on steroids with a lot of oak, leather, smoke aromas. But when made well, Areni is subtle, vibrant, and perfectly balanced. One of the best examples I've tried was from the Van Ardi winery just outside Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. I visited this winery during my trip to Armenia, and I have to say it was one of those small wineries where everything feels personal. The director greeted us himself, talked about his vineyards, poured us wine straight from the barrel, and shared stories about rebuilding Armenian viticulture from scratch because he was working in the US, then moved back to Armenia to create his own winery and his own wine. I left that place with the feeling that this grape has a huge future ahead. The traffic in Armenia is really a bit messy, Eastern European style I'd say, but you can take a taxi directly from the capital and taxis are really affordable. Yeah. So from Armenia, let's head north to Liechtenstein, yes, the tiny principality between Switzerland and Austria. When I first visited it, it was summer, but I can only imagine how beautiful it must be in autumn with the vineyards glowing orange and gold under the Alps. The country produces very little wine, and most of it comes from the royal family's own estate. Their main grape is Pinot Noir, and the wine from the winery, which belongs to the princely family, is really a gem. Most of their grapes are actually sourced from nearby Austria, but they also cultivate small plots on Liechtenstein soil where the microclimate is surprisingly mild thanks to the winds descending from the Alps. This warmth allows the grapes to ripen slowly, giving the wine elegant fruit, soft tannins, and a touch of mountain freshness, like a Burgundy that spent its youth hiking, And compared to French Pinot Noirs, for instance, the ones from Liechtenstein are really a steal. A nice bottle might cost less than 30 euros, so it's a good price for the quality, I believe. And finally, Georgia, the country where I lived and worked for more than a year, and where wine is not just a drink, it's part of the national identity. If you've been following my channel, you probably saw the full video I made about Georgian wines, but let me give you the short version here. Georgia is right next to Armenia, so if you ever visit one, it's easy to cross over and see both. The main winemaking region is Kakheti, about a 3-hour drive from Tbilisi through the mountains from the capital. It's an incredibly beautiful place. Rolling hills, ancient monasteries, and thousands of quarry, those huge clay amphora buried in the ground where the wine ferments and ages naturally. Their signature grape is Saperavi, a dark-skinned variety that gives deeply colored, powerful red wines with notes of black fruit, spices, and earth, whose juice is also red, not just the skin, which makes it perfect for bold, full-bodied wines. Saperavi can be rustic or refined depending on who makes it, but it always feels alive. If you are planning a visit, there are so many good wineries. For instance, Dakishvili is one of my personal favorites for its balance of tradition and precision. And if you want something more polished but still authentic, Chateau Mukhrani is a great option, just a day trip from the capital. It's a larger producer but very consistent with beautiful ground to visit. So there you have it, 5 cozy wines from 5 corners of the world that go far beyond the usual suspects. Fumin from the mountains of Italy, Istarska Malvasia from truffle country in Croatia, Areni from ancient Armenian valleys, Pinot Noir from princely Liechtenstein, and Saperavi from the heart of Georgia. None of them are mainstream, but each tells a story of place, tradition, and people who care deeply about their craft. If you're planning your wine holiday, you can DM me if you need any help with the preparation or guidance on the spot, and see you in the next one. Bye.